I just asked a millionaire how to rebuild his business in 2026 using AI.
And in this video, we're going to give you the 7 ways you can use AI to make money and stay ahead of your competition. This is Dan Murray. He grew Heights to $30 million, and today he's using AI to compress years of work into days. So here are the 7 things we do now in 2026 if we were building a business from scratch.
What's the first one?
You have to start with a why. That is not something that you're just going to replace with AI. There is, however, a way that AI can help you define the system. So when I started Heights, it came from a personal experience. I suffered from insomnia, and I discovered psychological problems and solutions were not the way that solved my problem. It ended up being nutrition. That was my why, but I still had to figure out, are people interested in this? And with AI, a couple of very quick prompts into Gemini or ChatGPT, which will say, hey, be my research partner. I'd like to know how many people, generally speaking, suffer from this problem. How many search results a month in the UK or across Europe or the world are there on this topic? You will immediately get answers. And that stuff took me weeks. It took me weeks and weeks.
So what sort of prompt, just give people an example. If we were trying to do market research for your business today, give me an example prompt.
So you are a market researcher who's spent 10 years at McKinsey and 3 years at Mintel. And I need you to evaluate how many potential buyers there are in Europe. And then can you show me any market trends, any Google search data results that demonstrate that this is a growing market, that there are more people year on year who want this thing. The next question is what? The what really matters because you should have a broad idea of the things you want to do. And then you go through a process of validating it. For Heights, we knew that, we believed that who we would be targeting is people who had to use their brains a lot, people who were exhausted like us. So we're like, okay, who are people like us? Lawyers, accountants, bankers. And we did 200 interviews. It took forever. Right now, instead of that, there are so many different services you could use that actually gave people personas. So you can literally say, I want you to take on the persona of 200 busy office workers. I need 100 of them to be women. I need 100 of them to be men. I need, 20% of them to be 20 to 45. And basically you'll start to give like a really detailed idea of who these customer groups are and actually prompt it to give you generalized data insights of the responses that people might give you. There's enough data going into ChatGPT and Gemini, obviously, and Grok and all of these tools for it to be able to spit back out to you with quite alarming accuracy what represents the thoughts of groups like that. The cynical side is everyone's giving their data to GPT, etc., and that's really bad. And then the other side of it is, as a market researcher, you can tap into the data that exists there and get these 200 interviews done in minutes. So next, where? If you've got loads of proliferation, lots of different channels everywhere, you find yourself too thinly spread across all of them, so not enough coverage and distribution. Whereas at Heights, the what is, what channel are you going to try and win at first and foremost? We're talking about starting a business, right? When Heights started, we started as a newsletter and we got to 20,000 subscribers on a newsletter, and I didn't do social media. Now, how would you choose your channel today in 2026 using AI? Yes, I actually still think that email is amazing. We use Klaviyo, I also use kit.com, you might use Beehive, there's so many different platforms. But I think with the AI distribution angle in mind, right? There's some very simple prompts that you could use on GPT. I'm starting this product. I'm looking for the right kind of customers. My insight on this is, insert the information that you've already got from the previous steps. What channels would provide me with the simplest, clearest opportunity in year 1, in year 2, and why? Please break them down for me. So then you actually get like an array. It'll probably say things like, there's retail, there's TikTok, there's, physical shop, there's all of these things. And then when you get the list, you can actually ask a follow-up question, which is, can you share rough costs of starting each channel? And what are, and most importantly, the opportunities and challenges with going for each of these? So the next step, thing you're really good at, marketing. It's all very well and good to have done all of this stuff, but one big mistake people make, and I see this a lot from people who get really obsessed with product, is they get cringe about selling, pushing, or marketing your product. Our product launched, this product, Vitals, launched in 2020, January 2020, and we had a newsletter from October 2018. So I was communicating with and building an audience up for over a year to pre-launch this product. And so by the time we launched it, did £30,000 in our first month, because I hadn't just been sitting on my hands making a product and waiting for it to exist before I could start telling people. Back in the day, that was definitely just a good way of doing it, was building a newsletter and then, trying to like drop stuff in. And I think that's one of the areas where AI today is absolutely incredible. There are zillions of tools that will make sure that when you're doing the marketing, you are capturing intrigue and interest, right? Any potential customer that has shown interest in you, you need to capture that data. You need to bring them into your world, and you need to somehow nurture them to communicate later. And that's the one thing that an email list will give you that's much harder to do on social. The other side of marketing, though, is obviously back in the day, even in 2020, if you want to do social, yes, you have to like hire a team, you get fancy cameras, you do all of these things. But today now, get your latest phone out, just start shooting, use Opus Clip for editing, like whatever. Like there's a million.
You can do Gemini AI prompts. You can literally come up with AI ads.
100%.
They are getting millions of views.
Yes.
As a content creator, people think I should be threatened by this. I'm not. It's just one more way of getting the message out.
Absolutely.
For founders to leverage.
And look, here's the other thing. Like, so Heights spends millions of pounds a year on paid ads, right? So across all the social channels. Now, that is thousands and thousands of ads every single year. So the content engine system that, a few years ago when I was starting, that's one of the reasons why we grew slower anyway, because you only have so much resource, so many people to come up with ideas, to write your scripts, to do the shooting, you upload it, and no one likes it. That's annoying. Well, guess what? You were supposed to do 20 versions of that. They all needed different hooks. They needed different soundtracks. They needed different starts. They needed a different beginning. They needed a different ending. All of that now can be prompted through Gemini or GPT. Hey, I'm starting a product about in this area, and I think it's for these types of people. Please suggest to me 3 different ideas that I can make for a social video. Okay, next prompt. Now turn that into 10 different variations.
Once you start marketing your business using AI, all that attention needs somewhere to go. But something that has not changed, no matter how much AI evolves, is the need for a strong domain name. Social platforms are great for discovery, but your website is where trust and transactions actually happen. And the first thing people judge is your domain name. The challenge is most good .com domain names are already taken, so founders either overpay for one or settle for something that just does not feel premium. So instead, you could own something clean by using a .online domain. Over 3.5 million businesses have already registered a .online domain name across industries, especially those focused on AI. And because the word online appears in over 500 million searches every month, it can even help with visibility, giving your AI venture a serious edge. You can get a .online domain name through platforms like GoDaddy, Squarespace, or Namecheap. But if you go to get.online/Simon6 and use the code Simon, you can get your first year for 99 cents. Which, if you're starting from zero, is a pretty smart first step. Hit the link in the description to claim your domain name today. Now, let's get back to these AI hacks.
Okay, so here's one that you don't generally hear people talk about, and that is quality and having real passion and care for the end-to-end customer experience. My business partner, Joel, and I, we went down to Selfridges and we went to the perfume department. And we're like, okay, here is a space that really, really understands the importance of design. So the packaging, the bottles that they use are the way that they attract customers to feel like this one's for me. So all of this to us was a really interesting psychological approach. And so we took the approach to design the world's most beautiful packaging. Now, in today's age, you could literally prompt, like this came from 200 customer interviews and like going to their house and stuff. You could obviously just go on like Nano Banana and say, hey, design me really unique packaging for this, and
put this packaging in there.
People do that.
We are no original idea anyway.
No.
People can see what's been successful in the market in their whatever chosen category, put it into these AI tools now and say, make me this, but for whatever you're making.
And also just give me 10 design ideas of how we could do this differently, how we can stand out in our category. And now give me 10 ideas of how we can connect with a better customer experience than the top 10 brands in this space. I think what's really important now is who. AI can really help you elevate how you think of who. So let's break that down. When you start a company, the heart and soul and brain of that company basically comes from you. So if you are inauthentic about who you really are and start off pretending that it's something else, you're going to really struggle to scale that. When I was doing things like going to leadership psychologists and paying money to like literally sit and do this because that's how important I think this is, now you would literally give it a framework. A really great prompt would be, give me 5 suggestions of a psychological values framework test that I can take and explain what they are and why they're different. And then just see which one sounds like your bag. Because everyone is going to choose something else. You do you, and then take the test. And then literally you can next prompt be, okay, now ask me all the relevant questions that help me find out what my values are. And then with GPT now, so like back in the day, it's a much harder process. We had to work out all these interview questions ourselves. We had to really figure out how we're going to get it right. Now, I would just put into ChatGPT, after having done my profile, so say I've got my Enneagram types, like these are, the values of the company. Write me a list of 5 to 10 interview questions that will really test someone when they come in for an interview.
Let's talk about the final thing we're going to talk about today. Innovate or die is how I frame it.
You, in general, when you're starting a company, will get a great feedback loop. Up until a certain point, it's a very common problem. And at Heights, we had the same thing. We went from 0 to 5 million quite comfortably. We did that inside a couple of years. And then we could not move from 5 million onwards. For 2 years, we stuck at £5 million. And there were so many reasons for it, but one of them was our messaging. We were really, really focused on messaging on this product being everything for the brain. Now, the thing is, this product is everything for the brain, but it's also everything for the body. It's a multivitamin injected inside omega-3s, etc. So we had to adapt our entire messaging strategy. This product was called the Smart Supplement. It's now called Vitals. As soon as we called it Vitals, suddenly people started buying. Super interesting. So like these were like cold audiences who didn't know.
How did you figure out to change it to Vitals?
We went through a very slow process of messaging tests. So literally landing pages on our website with a different name on the product, and until we landed on Vitals and saw that the click rates were going up, the purchase rates were going up, you start to get the data. Now the thing is, with Meta Andromeda and some of like the new systems, you can run these tests super quickly. Like a few years ago, we were doing these all manually. Now with AI, you can literally, you can ask ChatGPT to give me 10 or 20 compliant, new names for a product like this, that there's an opportunity or whatever. I mean, I do this all the time with naming. I'm sure you do too. And then you would literally run those tests on landing pages through Meta Andromeda and send, £100 maybe to each page and stuff, and just see which ones were getting the best traffic, the best uplift, the best actual conversion.
So hopefully you've gained a lot of knowledge today. The only way you're really going to learn this is by doing something.
Oh, right.
Not by buying a book, by doing something. And let me know in the comments what business you might learn, and I might be able to get Dan to invest in you. And I have some chicken now. Bye.